You think you know castle survival? You don't know shit. It wasn't just about furs and cozy fires. That's a fucking lie. To beat the piercing, deadly medieval winter, they relied on dark secrets, things that sound like black magic. Imagine this. The 5-meter thick stone walls are sucking the life out of you. Freezer burn cold. But deep beneath the fortress, the blood of the earth, a constant, primal, silent heat is leaking. And what did they do? They turned torture dungeons into filthy, underground radiators. We're diving deep into the depraved architecture, the psychological warfare, and the most bizarre, fucked up hacks. From harnessing trippy, glowing fungal nightlights, to warming your bed with a pile of literally fermenting, rotting grain. Yes, you heard me. They slept on a pile of decomposing garbage. Medieval winter life was a puzzle solved by primitive genius and the most esoteric, filthy knowledge. Beneath the towering stone, hidden from the demon shriek winds, lay the dungeons and casemates. To the untrained eye, this is the coldest spot. Damp, smells like dead rats. A perfect recipe for misery. But here's the dirty thermal secret. The Earth, just a few meters down, doesn't give a fuck about winter. It's a massive thermal battery, constantly leaking core heat. While the grounds froze solid steel, turning surface stone into a lethal freezer, these deepest chambers stayed warm. Not a furnace, but a persistent, naked warmth. A natural underfloor heating effect, as the stone slowly sucked that heat up and transmitted it to the floors above. This is where they hid the real treasure: wine, grain, cured meat. But when the cold became a killer, these dungeons became the castle's womb. Children, the sick, entire garrisons, crawling down there like sewer rats to escape the frost. They weren't just living, they were sucking life from the planet. Some fortresses even intentionally dug shafts, tapping this warmer ground, allowing the musty, earthy air to drift into crucial living spaces. It was a morbid primal symbiosis with the planet's hidden life-sustaining energy. Winter isn't just cold, it's dry. Rivers, concrete. Melting snow, you'd burn your entire fucking forest in a week. You will die of thirst. The solution? Besides chugging ale and cider like water, they don't freeze and have calories, they had a filthier trick. Think about the inside of that castle. 100 people breathing, sweating, cooking, burping, farting. The air was thick with moisture and body odor. Where does that hot, wet air go? It rushes to the coldest points, the dead cold stone walls, and boom, condensation. The smartest castles built secret channels to harvest this. Your rank breath, the steam from the kitchen, boiling a pot of guts, the ammonia rising from the horse shit in the stables, all channeled, condensing on frigid stone, trickling down into a hidden cistern. They were drinking their own recycled breath. It was disgusting, but it was clean, and it was a lifesaver. A nasty little secret kept by the Lord and his most trusted stewards, an elegant, gross as hell form of alchemy. In the residences of the filthy rich nobles, polished metal wasn't just decorative, it was a heat weapon. On clear but bitter cold days, a knight wasn't using his shield for battle. He was taking that shiny-ass piece of metal, or a silver platter, and aiming it at the window. The mission? To redirect the sun's weak, pathetic golden rays, to focus it onto a work table, onto a preferred seat, or onto their frozen solid hands. The effect? A modest rise of a few degrees. But in the crushing, endless gloom, a few degrees was everything. It was the difference between frostbitten fingers and being able to tie your own goddamn pants. They treated light like a physical substance to be captured, imprisoned, and controlled. It was a critical psychological fuck you to the darkness when spirits were at their lowest. When the sun died, it wasn't just dark. It was pitch fucking black. An absolute inky abyss. Candles, insanely expensive. You don't waste them. But in the haunted-ass forest nearby, something was glowing. Foxfire. Its bioluminescence It's fungus, eating a rotting log and shitting out a cool, green, sickly light. Hunters, night guards, they'd use these eerie branches as natural flashlights. This ghostly, morbid glow from a decomposing log lit their way back to the castle, saving them from walking off a cliff. It provided zero heat, barely enough light to see your own feet, but it saved candles. And sometimes, they'd bring it inside as a soft, safe, and creepy as hell nursery lamp. Imagine putting your kid to sleep next to a glowing piece of rot. That was the original LED. The silent killer inside the castle wasn't just the cold, it was the stale air. Can you imagine the stench? 100 bodies, unwashed for months. The smell of mildew, the smell of rotting food, the smell of sickness, and worst of all, the smell from the garderobe, which was literally just a shithole in the floor leading to the moat. The air inside was a thick, toxic soup of pathogens and rot. The solution? They built fake chimneys, specialized vents not attached to any fireplace. The hot, foul, moist indoor air would rise and escape. Cold, dry, clean air from outside was sucked in. They forced the castle to breathe. It was a shitty trade-off. Get colder, faster, or suffocate in your own filth? These channels also performed crucial sanitation, removing noxious odors from kitchens and toilets, drastically improving the quality of life. That annoying as hell winter draft coming through the keyhole, that shitty little gap was a lifesaver. The fire in your hearth? It's a hungry beast. It eats oxygen, and when it doesn't get enough, it shits out deadly carbon monoxide. That tiny crack, that icy current, was the room's only breathing tube. It provided a slow, essential trickle of fresh air, sustaining proper combustion, and, more importantly, diluting the poison gas that would kill you in your sleep. They didn't understand the chemistry, but they knew a room needed to breathe, even if it meant their ankles were numb. And the bedding? You think they had memory foam? They slept on garbage, grain waste, husks, whole oats, agricultural waste, stuffed into a sack. And here's the 18+ twist. Warmed by your body heat and the damp, rank air, that shit started to ferment. And rot generates heat. They were literally sleeping on a warm, rotting, farting mattress. A self-heating compost pile. That's the filthy survival hack history class left out. In the earliest, most brutal strongholds, they didn't sleep on beds, they slept in the walls. Masons carved sleeping niches, like stone coffins, directly into the deep interior walls. Stone is mercilessly cold, but a tight, enclosed niche traps a small volume of air that your body heat can warm up. You'd crawl into this stone tomb, line it with scratchy straw and dead animals, and pull a filthy curtain closed. You are entombing yourself alive every night, a private cave within a cave, just to stay alive. Meanwhile, the cellar played a critical role. It preserved the ale, beer, and cider from freezing. This wasn't a luxury, this was liquid food. When clean water was a brick of ice or full of disease, you drank beer for breakfast. Kids, adults, everyone, constantly buzzed. It was calories, it was hydration. Protecting the booze wasn't luxury, it was absolute survival. We have to talk about the smell. The stench of 100 unwashed bodies. The stench of sickness. The stench of the latrine. The stench of old food. All trapped in a stone box. It was a physical assault on your nostrils. Their solution? Chemical warfare against their own filth. They hotboxed the castle, burning intense aromatic substances. Rosemary, lavender, sage, juniper, pine resin. According to the miasma theory, they thought this smoke purified the bad air. They were wrong about the theory, but right about the practice. The smoke from many of these plants actually carries antimicrobial and antifungal compounds. It was literally inhibiting molds and pathogens. It was a plant-based bleach balm, and more importantly, it was a powerful psychological comfort, a defiant fuck you to the pervasive stench of death and decay. They wrung warmth from wood, earth, air, animals, light, and even their own goddamn rot. You think you're tough? You wouldn't last one night in that frozen hell. If this glimpse into these forgotten, depraved strategies fucked your mind, obliterate that like button. What's the craziest, most disgusting medieval hack you learned? The zombie fungus nightlight or the fermenting fuck mattress? Let me know in the comments below. And subscribe, so you don't freeze out on the next video.